Hey, good morning. Yes, it is. It is. That's right. Up and at 'em. It's Monday, the 14th. Time to get ready to go to work. So, what are we going to be talking about today? Well, today we're going to talk. I know I've talked about this subject before, but it never hurts to rehash some things, right? And that is, how much do we charge? So, on that note, stay tuned. Alrighty, welcome back to the channel. If you didn't already know it, my name is Eric, and yes, this is the weekday, Monday through Friday. Today is Monday, guys. You got to get up. It's raining and miserable out here in the North Country. As you can see, I have got a flannel shirt on. Yes, it's around 38 degrees, possible snow flurries today. Yippee! Nah, that's alright. So, before I get into the subject on how much we should charge, I just thought I could give a quick update because a lot of you guys have either friends down there or know somebody, and that is what's going on in the South. And what I'm hearing is, because we have a lot of friends that belong to tree companies, they're cutters that work on power lines, around power lines, live power lines, and they're all down anywhere from North Carolina, Alabama, Florida. One crew is in Florida right now, and they're saying that they've never seen nothing like this. And the biggest thing I'm hearing is there's a lot of people that want to help, but there's limited supplies, limited water, limited food, limited gas, and you need to let the professionals do it and have access to that resource. There's going to be plenty of time for you guys that want to go down and help afterwards, to help with clean up, and redoing homes and all that. But for right now, it's in such an early stage that we really need the people that do this every day of the week and can get in and get out without getting hurt. And that's the name of the game, right? I got part of my friends and family have been checking in, and there's one guy. He's almost 80. He's almost 80 years old, and he lives in Corpus Christi, I think it is, Florida. And he said it was just unreal. He said that a tornado come right down the road in their section, and at the last minute it veered off and it grabbed his 20-foot dock and put it in his neighbor's yard. And he's like, I don't know how I'm going to explain to my neighbors coming in tomorrow from Nova Scotia that my dock is in his yard. I said, did you put it there? He goes, no. I said, nah, I wouldn't worry about it. Simple as that. Shit happens, right? Alrighty, so let's get back on topic here. What do we charge? And if you've seen any of my prior videos, you know that I'm going to tell you the first thing is location, location, location. Now, the closer you are to the city, the higher the incomes are. And the more money you need to make to pay rent. Rent in our area could be, let's say, $700, all right, for a one-bedroom apartment. But you get down around New York City, and now you're, what is it, like $3-4 grand? So the cost of living is different, and based on the cost of living, you have to be more in line of what the going rate is in your area and less concerned about the national average. And I know that, people want to make as much money as they can. They don't want to leave anything on the table, is what they call it. Because you can always take less, but you can never ask for more, right? But my feeling is first of all, is location. It's where are you setting up shop, all right? The second thing is, are you a licensed shop or are you doing it out of your garage or shed or what have you? Because that makes a difference. Do you have employees? That makes a difference. Because now you're paying, payroll taxes and insurances, workman's comp, everything else. So now you got more bills to cover. So now we've covered location. Now we've covered, are you a registered shop? And when I say registered shop, I mean tax number and you're doing business as and legit. And I'm not saying that people working out of their shed or garage are not legit, not even close. I know people that have a section of the garage and they are legit. They are charging sales tax and everything else. They're a one-man band. So that would be my next consideration is, are you legit or are you working off the books? And then that would be lastly, off the books. Now, there's a couple different levels of off the books. And you're going to say, what do you mean? What I'm going to tell you is a lot of guys that have done this most of their lives, when they retire, they tend to still continue working on stuff. So the level of education as far as know-how of doing things, there are different levels. And I don't believe in learning off the customer's back. And what do I mean by that? I mean, if you have a customer and this is your first, second, third job, what could take you 4 hours? Could take a person like Jason 10 minutes or Travis. I mean, it's where I'm getting at is your level of education, your level of training, your level of experience all comes into play. The guys that have been doing this for years and then decided to, in their retirement years, continue on to supplement their income should get a higher rate than somebody that's just getting into it, that would like to do this and see if it's going to work out. In our area, I can give you an example of the breakdowns, all right? A full-fledged shop with employees. The bulk of the shops in this area are $120 an hour, all right? Now, I keep a low overhead, which means everything I got is paid for. So I'm not feeding that giant amount of debt. So I can do it cheaper. And I'm not here to make a killing. I'm just here to make a living. So we charge $55 an hour. And that's the shop rate. Why half of what the going rate is on the other shops? Is it that their level of expertise is higher? No, we're warranty shops for every one of them out there. Is it they have better mechanics? No. Claude's a good mechanic. I think the biggest problem that's going on is everybody wants to make more money, right? And there's nothing wrong with making more money because everything is just going like ape shit on prices, groceries, fuel, inflation, and just this never ending cycle that you chase your tail, right? I don't think there's many out there that can really afford to have their stuff worked on right now. And the ones that we deal with mainly are retirees, young couples, and the retirees are on a fixed income, and They might get a bump up every so often from the federal government for inflation, right? But not much. And hardly any of them have got like big 401ks and that stuff. And the young people are just getting started, so they're taking whatever work they can get, right? But what I found is, especially these past 4 years, is when someone is looking at having their lawnmower serviced and it's going to cost them $200 or more, they take a second look at it. And when I say take a second look at it, they start looking at YouTube videos, how to do a service on their lawnmower. And they're not as thorough as running it through our shop. There's more to a service than just changing the oil, you know. But they can change the oil filter, and put on new blades. I've had them upside down before, but they can put on new blades, new spark plug, and a fuel treatment. And now their bill might be $45 instead of $200 plus, right? So they're saving $160, and that's how they look at it. And it took them probably half an hour of their time. So that's where I see it right now, is that with the disposable income being down, the shops that are still asking big money, I don't think are getting the work unless it's warranty. I really think that a lot of shops are suffering right now. And people are being let go because they don't need that many mechanics. And I've seen that at a local Ford dealership that normally had 5 full-time mechanics, you know, and they're down to 2, and they can't keep the 2 busy with service work and non-warranty work. But at some point, you have to be careful that you don't price yourself out of the market. You know, if you're just starting out, and I don't care whether you're 20 or you're 65, if you're first starting out, I would say in the $15 to $20 an hour range, plus parts. Because you're learning, all right? And you're probably watching YouTube videos like this one, hopefully. And you don't have a wealth of experience underneath your belt already. And even me, you know, I've been at this since 2006. And I've got a lot of experience. But there are still things that come onto my plate that I look at, and I have to scratch my head. And even Claude, and do a YouTube video or a search, find out from another shop what's the best plan of attack. Because the ones that are doing it all the time, no workarounds. The ones that are trying it for their first attempt normally take the hard way. The way I would look at it, you know, when you're first starting out, you know, what's the minimum wage in your area, right? If you went to work for somebody else, you would get minimum wage. And then the more experience and the more time you had for that employer, hopefully you've excelled in your learning and you can do it quicker, that they will start bumping you up to more money per hour, right? And that's how most businesses do it. You know, you have what I call the apprentice stage, and that is your probationary period, sometimes 6 months, but they want you to have a level of learning, of teaching you the way they want you to do it, right? And as you learn, you become more valuable to that employer because you have more experience. And you don't have to be constantly reminded and take valuable time from getting the job accomplished, right? Doesn't matter what you do in life. You got to start somewhere. And the same thing with starting a small engine repair business, whether it be part-time or full-time. You got to start somewhere. And the sooner you start, the quicker you're going to be ahead of everybody else, right? That also wants to do that. But if you're just looking to supplement your income or you have, play money for the weekends, even with some experience, bump it 20, 30 bucks an hour. If you're working out of your garage and you got a tax ID in that, there's no reason why you can't get 55 if you have the experience. I'm serious. If you have the experience. And we've had small engine repair mechanics come through our shop, that were looking for work. And they had experience, but not the right experience. It's either their way or no way. And that never flew with us. We have a way of going about things. This is how we do things. And this is what my expectations are of you. I'm not looking for you to be an Einstein at small engine repair. But if you tell me you have experience, I don't expect to have to coddle you and show you how to do a normal service on a lawnmower. You should know that. So if you know that, then I don't have to spend time, Claude doesn't have to spend time showing you. And we've had guys come through that work for other shops that didn't do a good job at doing a service. They didn't want to scrape the decks. They didn't want to blow off the decks. They didn't want to have to check the belts. They didn't want to have to. Of course, they didn't last long, did they? No, because if you aren't willing to do the job and do it right, why do it at all? And that's always been the philosophy of my shop, is we're going to do it right the first time. And this past week, it's more than shown why we do it right the first time. Because we end up with a couple of redos, right? And when you don't do it right the first time, then now the shop's got to eat it. Somebody's got to eat it. And if you're a mechanic on flat time, you eat it, right? But most places the shop eats it, the owner. And that's what's happening right now, is Claude's still getting paid, but I can't justify and tell a customer that it didn't work, so we're redoing it and I've got to charge you double. No, that's not how it works. An example is the 401B John Deere tractor that came in for a transmission pump because it lost all hydraulics. All right, so we had to tear it all apart because what started it all was a pilot bearing let go, and that was in the clutch area, and it made its way all the way back through into the hydraulic transmission pump and took it out, smashed the gears. One of the ball bearings out of that pilot bearing had cut loose and ended up in there. It got picked up by the suction and in through the pump. And cast iron gears, they don't last long when they have a piece of steel hit them. So I went and I ordered an aftermarket pump for them, okay? And we had it split in 3 pieces. And the guy asked, how does the clutch pressure plate look while you're right there? And Claude said it looked good. Well, the aftermarket transmission pump failed within 10 minutes. The company that I got it from were good. They automatically, sent a new one and a prepaid envelope to send the other one back. But they weren't willing to cover any of the labor. And the labor is what kills you when you start splitting tractors. And as I explained to the customer Saturday, what you were charged coming into last week is what you're getting charged now. I'm meeting the cost of re-breaking this apart, putting in the new transmission hydraulic pump. And now that we're in it, Claude decides I'm going to put a new pressure plate and clutch in it. I said I thought we didn't need it, and he said, "Well, I'm this far again. I'm not coming back yet." So I explained to the customer, you're going to have to pay for the clutch and pressure plate on top of what last week's bill was. But I can't charge him another $1,200 to split that tractor when it wasn't even his fault. Right? Wasn't our fault either. But it's just, in my eyes, it's fair. It's treating your customers the way you'd hope to be treated. So I would check around and see what the going rate is at most of your shops. And then the level you're coming in will dictate. If you're working on the side, making extra money for the weekends, or play toys, or this or that, or supplementing your retirement, and you don't have any prior experience in this field, 15, $20 an hour. Work your way up. And do it the same way all these shops that are on this channel and all these mechanics that are on this channel started. And that is at the bottom and work your way up. So on that note, you guys have a great Tuesday or Monday. Put in the comments, you guys that have shops and you guys that are experienced mechanics, what your thoughts are on it. I know a lot of mechanics don't like the unlicensed shop because they feel it takes work from them. And all I can tell you is it's been like this since the caveman. We have different levels of shops that buy from us. That everything from your off the books, doing it on the side. They buy parts from us. Get into a bind, yeah, I'll help them out. But let me know what you guys think. And keep the suggestions on what videos you want to see, because it helps me immensely, more than you ever know. So on that note, you guys have a great Monday, and we'll catch you here bright early tomorrow morning. Again, thanks so much for watching.